the one thing I usually say is you can trust patterns. So what is the pattern that keeps coming up when you bring it up? So it can be over time. Think of it like if you can mention up to 3 times it happened, that's a pattern.
Yeah.
If it has happened over a period of like 3 months, that's a behavior.
Okay.
Right? Now I've gone back to clinical terms, but
I like that. Over 3 months is a behavior.
Yeah, it's a behavior. It's kind of like
3
something
times
that
is
has
a pattern.
it has become like a routine.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the difference between a pattern and a behavior?
So I think like a pattern's like behavior is like when it's a bigger system. It's your values, it's your thoughts, it's how you react to things. A pattern is when one particular thing keeps showing up. One particular thing keeps showing up. So a pattern can be part of a behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
La 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 la, soft edit. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Soft Edit. Today's guest is Karen Kakai. Welcome to the podcast, Karen.
Thank you so much.
So please tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Karen Kakai?
It's like one of those like job interview questions and you're like, what do I say here? What do they want to hear? So I am a registered psychologist and I work in HR though, which is an interesting bit. And I am a middle child. And
How is that?
How is that being a middle child? Oh, okay, so I'm a middle child of 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
So there's
Okay.
another middle child.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like they're the most middlest.
Fair.
I'm the
like
fun middle child. I think I'm a bit of a last born. And then also like a middle child, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fantastic. So, and then I am, as you can probably see, quite on the extroverted side
Oh, lovely.
of, interactions
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that is a little bit of a nutshell. You can pick and choose and see kind of like who I am there.
You are all of those things.
I am all of those things.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a question we ask everybody on the podcast.
Yeah.
What does softness mean to you?
Oh, yeah.
Heavy question.
I know. And I went through like some of like the other episodes of Soft Edit and I was like, what did they say?
What is the answer?
What is the answer? And I came to like 2 things. I think softness is self-compassion.
Yeah.
Kind of like thinking about it as hugging yourself in a way, or kind of like thinking about it as that person that you like. Say for instance, like if you have a sister, a friend that you really like and you like to sometimes like be there for them, but now turning that into you instead. So that's what I think about what softness is kind of like being there for yourself, being kind to yourself in a way. But I also think that you can only do that if you're self-aware.
True.
Right? So
I like that.
like, when do you need kindness? When do you need understanding for your own self?
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I was like, for me, I think what softness means is compassion and also just awareness that like when you can be there for yourself or kind of like have your own back. In a way. Yeah.
I love that. I agree. Yeah, that's also my definition of softness.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I got the right answer.
You did. Look at you. That's lovely. No, I agree. I think like having grace for yourself ultimately and compassion is the definition of what it means to be soft.
I love that name, Grace.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. And I think the reason why I'm saying like I love that name Grace is probably I would have never thought about it because I think I think about things in a very like clinical psychologist way, you know. But I love the grace, because I think you need grace with yourself. You can like, you know, yeah. I love that name.
Yeah,
that,
and to be a human.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
takes grace, honestly.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of grace.
And we were talking about this, and I think it's so related to grace and self-compassion.
Yeah.
The personal Bill of Rights, which I actually had never heard of.
There's a reason why.
So please tell us about it. What is it? And also, why is it important?
Yeah, so the Personal Bill of Rights is from this book from like late 1980s, which is probably why we've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's a tool for you to kind of like assert yourself.
Yeah.
And it's used or in a clinical way, like a psychologist, largely one who's like practicing, say, for instance, like cognitive behavioral therapy. Sorry, there's so many therapy types. I won't go into them, but they'll probably like give it to you as a homework of something of a sort, or like a tool for you to kind of like pin it somewhere.
Yeah.
And that is why probably we don't hear about it a lot. And so it is kind of like a way for people to navigate guilt, to navigate anxiety, to also navigate like depression or PTSD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's not wide known, but it is so important, the way I see it as well. And so the Personal Bill of Rights, think of it as just like the Constitution, right? So like the way Kenya has a Bill of Rights, or other countries have like a Bill of Rights, and you always hear like, it's my right legally, right?
Yeah.
And so you can think about it as, what do I owe to myself first? What are kind of like the basics of what I stand for myself?
Yeah.
And so when you think about like assertion or being assertive, it's how do I speak about what I need and who I am in a way that also like can enable other people to understand, but also find space for myself.
Oof.
Yeah.
Find space for yourself is big.
Find space for yourself, because you don't live in a vacuum. You can like live with others. And I think that's one of the things that is also like a caveat for the Personal Bill of Rights is that you need to kind of like understand that while you have a Bill of Rights, that you live in a society. And so you kind of like need to figure out, how do I balance my emotions and my needs with other people's needs? So when I talk about the Bill of Rights, it's important to understand that you need to figure out how to balance it. And it's hard, but you need to figure out. So it shouldn't be like something where you're like, I want this.
Yeah.
It should be something like, I need this because of this, this, and that. Where are you coming from? Can we have a conversation?
Yeah.
And then when you talk about like being assertive, it's like, these are my non-negotiables. But those non-negotiables, just like a Bill of Rights in the Constitution, also does not step on other people's Bill of Rights.
Ooh. I love that.
Right?
Yeah. It's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's such a good point. And maybe for the context of the audience, I have the Personal Bill of Rights that you shared with me.
Yeah.
So let me read it out so that everybody kind of knows what we're talking through. So Personal Bill of Rights. I have the right to ask for what I want, express my feelings, change my mind, make mistakes, say no and not feel guilty, express my ideas and thoughts, to change and grow, ask questions, to say I don't know, to ask for help, to be treated with respect and dignity, and to feel good about myself or to be healthy.
Yeah. It is. So in the workbook itself, it's like 25 of them.
Yeah.
I kind of like picked which ones I felt are more general towards like being assertive.
Yeah.
so that it's like a little bit easier for people to understand, like, how do I balance it? Which I think like the one is just like sitting with yourself. It's really hard to understand like what those are.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're from or what your experience has been, what your personality is, what your role is in society, what culture says, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then after you've sat with yourself, how then do you now work with other people around the Bill of Rights as well?
Yeah.
And I kind of like really want to make it very important because I think we're right now, like globally and especially like social media, we're at a place where we're debating things. And it's like one person is like right and the other one is not.
Yeah.
And if the other person is not right, then you don't hang out with them. And your daddy algorithm will give you only people who you agree with.
Agree with you, yeah.
And then there's no spectrum anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
There's no stages or middle ground anymore.
Yeah.
Like you pick, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why it's like really important for me to kind of like say this about the Bill of Rights is I get it that you can be in a place where you need to assert yourself, but you are not in a vacuum. So think of the Bill of Rights as exactly how our Constitution is, which is like everybody's entitled to this.
Yeah.
And then we make amendments on top of that to make sure that there's some inclusion of everyone.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that it's called the Bill of Rights because all of those things are rights. They're not like privileges. Because sometimes we can think, oh, yeah, like it's a privilege to be able to do this or it's a privilege to be able to say no.
Yeah.
But it is a right. Everybody has the right to do that.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I also like how you put it, which is you have to sort of sit with yourself first.
Yeah.
But then you also have to acknowledge you don't exist in a vacuum.
You don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. But the sitting with yourself is hard.
It is.
To be honest. And making, like you said, making space for yourself.
Yeah.
And being like, actually, you know, I am entitled to say no. I am entitled. It's okay if I say that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I am entitled to these things and I am entitled to this space is really, really hard. And I think a lot of people struggle with.
A lot, yeah.
So how do you start? How do you start with that piece? How do you start with sitting in and understanding and really like, I guess, actualizing your rights?
Yeah. I think I would say with some sort of help.
Yeah.
There's things that we know about ourselves, but there are things that we don't know about ourselves. It's like that thing of the Johari window thingy where it's like, then there are things that people know about you, but you don't know about yourself. And then there are things that no one knows and you don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. But one of the things that you can do is when you start like self-reflecting or you need to kind of like understand something about yourself, is kind of like jot down about what certain situations you've been with and how you've been in, and how they've made you feel. Why do they make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like that made you happy? And then ask people that you trust.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about like validation, but I think one thing as human beings, and especially if you're a minority, either in terms of rights or just in terms of like numbers, you tend to look for other people for validation. Am I doing the right thing? Is it a tick? Especially like women as well. So you have to kind of like be very careful about like who you ask. Like, how do you see me? And stuff like that. And if you can see like a psychologist, obviously, if you have the money to see like a proper psychologist, please do.
Yeah.
And just walk them and say, I would like to see how do I actualize this Bill of Rights. So you can start from situations and kind of like exploring that.
Yeah.
And then using other people's mirror view. And what I mean by that is like people around you, that you feel like you can trust their point of view or you feel safe around them.
Yeah.
And so when they give you the point of view, you feel a little bit more like this is not from a bad place, or it's not from a judgmental place, or it's not from their own insecurity.
Yeah.
Because we do project.
That's true.
And then also like use like a psychologist as a sounding board, just to help you like sometimes detangle things a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things as well to kind of like recognize about your mental health is it's not one way. It's not one thing. It's several things. It's a system.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and the reason I'm saying that is because we've grown up hearing all these things of like, if you just put your mind to it, you can do it. Like you are just like in this vacuum and you're steering something and you're going, I don't know
Yeah,
where,
and
right?
if you can't do it, then you're weak.
Yeah.
There's something wrong
There's
with
something
you.
wrong with you. Your mental health comes from like, say, your genetics. So you'd hear sometimes somebody saying, have you had this and this in your family? Like say, for instance, if you go to a doctor and they say you might have diabetes. Is somebody in your family have diabetes?
Yeah.
Or does somebody have heart disease in your family? Mental health, same thing, right? Smaller percentages in some things like schizophrenia, bipolar,
Yeah.
depression,
Yeah.
because of, chemicals in the brain and stuff like that. But there's genetics, right? And then there's like your personality,
Yeah.
Do you like to talk a lot? Do you not?
Yeah.
How do you like to relate to people? And all that stuff. Then there's your micro environment. Your micro environment is like your siblings, your parents. Where do you fall, or what role do you play? Because those affect even your personality.
Oof.
If you're in a family and you're told, don't talk too much, but you like to talk a lot, what happens? Either you quiet yourself, or maybe I don't talk here, but I talk outside when I'm in school, or you rebel, one of the two, or you're always in constant argument, right? So that also affects your mental health. Then you have your extended family and friends and neighbors. Then you go to the macro level. And from the macro level, it's kind of like, where are you social economically? Right?
Yeah.
There's some things you can do with money, some things you can't do with money.
Yeah.
What's your value system? What's your religious system? Which church? Which mosque? Where do you fall in that? Because those ones add on to the norms, the values, the culture that then you adapt or change later on.
Ooh.
Right?
I love that.
So it's not just you.
Yeah.
So when you sit with yourself, sometimes you don't know how to detangle all of this. You don't know maybe what your mom told you about don't sit like that. Girls can't sit like that. Is the reason why you're always like.
It's true.
You might not know that.
That you don't know that's how you're conditioned.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're conditioned that way.
And so if you have a sounding board or feedback from somebody else, or even if you're relating with other people from different cultures, then you see that. And so that's why I'm saying it's important that, yes, you sit with yourself, but have a mirror or a sounding board that helps you, because they can see sometimes things that you can't.
Yeah. Oof. I really like that.
Yeah.
No, and it's so true. I think a lot of people really struggle to sit with themselves and really struggle to do that initial work of understanding, why am I the way I am?
Yeah.
And then is this who I actually am? Or is this a product of the roles I've been made to play in my life?
Yeah.
And that's super sobering. And I have found personally that for me, it was like I got to a point where I was just so tired all the time. I just felt drained and exhausted, and like I just wasn't that person anymore. It was costing me so much that I knew that I had to be honest, I didn't really know what was happening. I just felt something breaking.
Yeah.
And that forced me to sit with myself, because I never had before. I was so caught up in exactly what you said, which is like your role in life, in society, in family, in friends, and completely forgot that my life was about me.
Yeah.
and sitting in that and sitting with yourself to find that, you know, your feelings are valid, your thoughts are valid, everything that comes from you is mainly valid, is an interesting and sobering reality.
Yeah. And I think something that sometimes we tend to go like, because of just how we've been told that, which I feel like it's like from a very colonial place. It's like as Africans, like we can't take time to encourage difficult emotions.
Yes.
Because what colonization and slavery did to us is they made us a tool.
100%. Yeah.
Right? So you have to be hard and gritty.
Yeah.
Right? And do. If you start thinking, oh, I'm in a colonial system, then they lose money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think if you feel like, if you keep on thinking about something and you keep on saying like, but it keeps coming up over and over again. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is that me? Oh.
Breathe.
So if you keep like, if things keep coming up, like a certain emotion, a certain situation, a certain way that you react, anger, anxiety, deflection. Somebody does something to you, you find somebody else to kick.
Yeah.
Right?
Oof. That's a big one.
That's a big one. Something happens somewhere and you find somebody else to kick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it keeps coming up, look at it. Because the more you go like,
Yeah.
it piles up.
Ignore. I know.
Yeah. So even if you feel like, me, I'm a soldier, I'm a marshal, it's me against the world, Tupac, it will come up at one point. It will keep on like piling up. And then it will keep on getting complicated because then if you don't manage it, it means even like the way you relate with others is based on how you've been managing whatever you've been managing. So once you start figuring it out, it means a longer way. It's not a bad way, but it just, or it's not like it won't be rewarding, but it does mean you have to dig a little bit more. Even your relationships around you might change.
Yeah.
So you'll have to do more work.
Yeah.
So the more you pack it and leave it, the more work you'll need to do. So the earlier you start, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. That's beautiful. And it's so true. But as you do that work of sort of sitting with yourself, and for someone who hasn't, because I think for a lot of women especially, a lot of these things were, let's say, socialized to be selfish.
Yeah.
Like of you to say, oh, I have the right to my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, I have the right to mistakes. I have the right to change my mind. I have the right to ask for what I want.
Yes.
Like it is socialized and deemed as something that is more selfish. And I think a lot of women, myself included, struggle with this notion of making the space for yourself and taking up space generally. And once you do that, and to your point, I love that. Reflect on the instances that keep recurring. Reflect on your reaction through those instances and start to actually actively do that work. Once you do that work, the world around you changes. A lot of people who were sort of enabled by your inability to sit in your rights start to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And a lot of the relationships that you have start to shift.
Yes.
What do you do with that?
It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say like it's any easier. And especially the older you are, I think the more you've sort of like have a certain sort of like community and stuff around, and it feels harder to make friends when you're older.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. It's very true.
It felt so much harder,
Yeah.
and especially I don't know if it was bad. If it was easier for like when our parents were growing up or when they were older, however older we think they were. I don't have like a particular answer for that. I would say that what I would say is that it's a little bit easier now to find community. I feel online that maybe can be more transferred into like physical spaces, but I feel like we have more diversity of thought. Or I would say that the one thing I do feel, and maybe the only thing I would say that has been great about social media has been democratizing voices that weren't heard before in traditional ways, which is why I think we kind of like have such a conflict and love and conflict, hate and love thing with it, with social media. And I think that you can find like, but you need to be intentional. Like, first of all, kind of like communicate with the people and go like, I wasn't comfortable with this and I would like to try this. I don't like running in the morning because actually I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
Could we meet in the middle and jog at 4 p.m.? I don't know if that works. Right?
Yeah.
But as an example.
Yeah.
Right? And so the shifts within like your friends, your family, and their relation to you might not be always drastic.
Yeah.
It could be, oh, finally, now you're standing up for yourself. Or yeah, actually, I have this thoughts or stuff like that. But then it could be those people who are just like, no, don't come here again.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing is to be open to how it might go. So not particularly just go like, I think one of the stories Kenyans really, really love is like, I started climbing and people didn't like me, they didn't want good things for me. And we really love those sort of stories. They're always online.
Yeah.
But instead, go into this journey as some people would actually like me the way I am right now, or they might like me the way I am evolving. You're right, to grow and change.
Yeah.
And so let me be open to that. Let me also be open to grief.
Oof. Yes.
Grief for, oh, if I did this earlier, I could have ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. If I said no to this, I could have ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. First of all, grief with yourself.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Yeah.
Then grief of relationships that will go. Right? And understanding that that might last way long than you think. Right? All these like success stories we hear, it's like, yeah, friends left me, but I made it. Da, da, da. They don't talk about, actually, I cried over the time I spent with, and it was good. Maybe I was not in my good place, but they were there. And right now I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And that it comes in waves. You don't go through the change curve, not the change curve, sorry, but the grief processes stage by stage by stage. Sometimes you might be angry, then you accept, then another time something happens and you're back to anger.
Yeah.
I miss this, I miss that. I know it wasn't great, but I miss it. It had this component that I liked.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, I love that. It's true.
Yeah.
And there's so much grief in it.
Yeah.
That is tough. And sometimes I think when you're in this place of uncertainty or anxiety, you find yourself being like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But also, like, you yearn for the person you used to be or the relationships that person had.
Yeah.
And sometimes you also feel this level of regret because you're like, oh, I that's not something that's a part of my life anymore, or that's not something that sort of suits this version of my life anymore.
Yeah.
And it is grief.
It is grief, yeah.
Yeah. For yourself, for who you were, for the relationships that you had. I've struggled with this, to be honest. I've struggled with the grief of it, but also I've struggled with choosing different.
Yeah.
Because that's hard. I don't think this work is once. I think it's constant.
Yeah.
And so even in situations, like for instance, like in saying no, when I get to feel, I feel the sense of anxiety a lot in saying no.
Yeah.
Because some people are not used to me saying no.
Yeah.
And it sucks to disappoint people, especially when you're socialized not to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, like, as women, like, I think sometimes, like, certain things in the Bill of Rights would be a little bit harder for us. And as I said, like, it depends on, like, your role, even, like, just like society, culture, what you've been told, right?
Yeah.
So it's like an entire system. And I think for a very long time, centuries, we've been thought of as largely caregivers.
Yeah.
Caregivers, self-effacing, and needing validation. I remember when I was really young reading, it was this magazine that we used to get wrongly because it was never being shipped to the right person. It's called Reader's Digest. And I remember once reading a quote in there that women will be equal to men when they walk down the street in a gunia, in a sack,
Yeah.
and still feel like they're sexy. Because there's some men you meet and they whistle at you and you're like, really?
It's true.
I would love that confidence.
Yeah.
But we always need validation.
Yeah.
Men don't particularly need validation as much as they do, but not as much as. I think women are socialized to, you can know you're pretty, but somebody else has to say.
Yeah.
You can know you're a good cook, but somebody else has to say. Right? So that, but a man can just go like, I'm good at that. And even they'll tell you. And who have you heard from? No, I just know.
It's
right?
true.
And so I think as women, because of those three things, especially the validation bit, because it's linked to rejection. And I don't know if you've ever seen this even in adverts. Like there was this advert for Fair and Lovely, or something of that sort.
Yeah.
And you go and you do the skincare, and you could be hanging out with friends. But what always happens in the advert? A man passes, turns, smiles. Validation, tick.
Yes. Approval.
You cook, you serve, they smile.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so true.
Right? There's never been an advert of you cook, you're like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Then you add whatever it is, and then you test and you're like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You cook, you bring, others go like, yes.
Good job.
Good job,
Yeah.
right? And I think what that is linked to is rejection. And so it becomes harder to say no. Because validation, where does that come from? There's a possibility of now rejection.
Yeah.
I would like to change my mind. There's a threat of rejection. And then on the other hand, like, you're a caregiver, you're supposed to be self-effacing. What about me?
Yeah.
What about, so the other person who's asking, what about me? But I think as women, one of the things we can ask is, what do you really owe the other person?
Yes.
Do you owe them to be your mother, their mother?
Yeah. It's
Their caregiver?
a good question.
You could be courteous, but you don't immediately owe them caregiving duties, self-effacing duties.
It's
And
so true.
does their validation to you really matter?
Oof.
And then from there, then figure it out. And if you need time, and depending on the situation, you might want to take time
Yeah.
to maybe give an answer. Say something like, maybe, let me
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about assertiveness and just going like, no, actually, I don't want that. But it's harder for some of us, right? So you could say, maybe, let me think about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a certain kind of woman, or you're like, oh, if you're not assertive, then you're against feminism. No, you can just be yourself. And you can
Yeah.
say, let me think about it. Let me sit with it. Or, watch and let me pray about it.
Yeah.
Let me pray about it and say.
Yeah.
Like, take time, create space, especially if it's uncomfortable, if you feel like in your head you're unsure. Step back. And if you can't step back, can use any way to step back, depending on the person.
Yeah.
You know. But step back and then think, okay, was that uncomfortable? Okay, how do I tell them and stuff like that?
Yeah. Oof. I love that. I think what I've learned or continue to learn is in that when it comes to relating to other people, because I completely agree with you. There's two sides to this. There's the first to understand who you are, to be comfortable in it, and to learn to advocate for who you are. And then there's the second, coexisting with other people. And as someone who 100% grew up with women that would put themselves last, culturally, it's just an expectation, and lived for approval and all the check marks. What I've started to realize and to notice about myself is the relationships where I feel a sense of anxiety existing within. I take a minute and, to what you're saying, take a step back and inspect. Like, why does this friendship or relationship make me anxious? Why am I so scared to say no? Why am I so worried that they won't understand? You know? And sitting in that, because some of the time the answer is they just won't.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but then that probably means it's not the right relationship or friendship or entanglement for you. But taking that beat to be like, okay, maybe it's not for me, still hard. It's still hard.
It is.
Yeah.
And also, like, just to say as well, like for us as well as we're going through that journey, also like being there for other people who are going through it. So if somebody says, maybe, could be a cue to go like, if it doesn't sit well with you, do you want to think about it?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, instead of going like, how could you not?
Yeah.
Right? And I think like, for me, like, I think one of the roles that I attached myself to, or an identity that I attached myself to growing up, was being smart. Because, you know, I was number
That's a
one in
good
school.
one.
And I still have it. When we started, and then you said, oh, that's how I've always thought of like softness. I was like, I got it.
Right.
You know, I was like, oh, that's an A. Right?
A star.
A star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like some of the things that I struggled with was just like going like, because of being thought as clever or knowledgeable, is just going like, actually, I don't know. Or sometimes when I want to change my mind, being scared of being labeled as flaky.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Being labeled as flaky.
Yes.
And I see that more with men sometimes. Have you ever been in an Uber or just riding with somebody and then they don't know the direction, but they have all the excuses in the world?
Yes.
Google Maps here is not correct.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Google Maps has never been correct. In fact, it does not even know Nairobi. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So true.
I took this turn. And I think that sometimes, like, obviously as women, we have more pressure in terms of like living lives for others, caregiving, self-effacing, validation, right? But I think the same pressures that are there, like culture-wise and value-wise, are also on men as well.
Yeah, sure.
And so we also need to like show up for each other, men or women. Just go like, if somebody says, I don't know, go like, okay, how do we figure it out?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah.
in that way, so that we are also conscious of like the role we are playing in other people's lives.
Yeah.
Right? If we are also like sort of like validating the same roles that have been given to others, instead of letting them kind of like step back from that role and have this more sincere and authentic relationship with you in one way or the other, then we're working on our Bill of Rights, but are we helping others work on their Bill of Rights?
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. And if somebody doesn't want to work on their Bill of Rights, if you have worked on yours, you're comfortable with who you are, but you're experiencing someone who isn't, and who can't make space for who you are because they're looking at, let's say, an old version of you or a surface level expectation. To your point, like, oh yeah, of those stories of like, oh yeah, I came up and then nobody likes me anymore. But like the same kind of ethos of like, oh, you're not doing this for me anymore. You're not showing up this way for me anymore. I guess my question is, in those instances when you've sat in yourself and really not figured yourself out, but have started to develop these healthy associations of what you have the right to.
Yeah.
Who do you owe repair? Like, when do you owe repair and when do you not? Because I think that's also something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Largely, for me, how I gauge it is not with one incident, but maybe like over time. Of course, I'm not talking in this particular case in like extra toxic relationships, right? I'm talking about just like normal relationships. But it's how you respond when I tell you, this is my concern, this is what I'm working on. So if over time you go like, get on with your life, like stop trying to complicate things.
Yeah.
And if I tell it's not complication, actually, I really felt anxious about da-da-da-da-da. I was really uncomfortable with da-da-da-da-da. Because there are different ways and levels of conversations you can have with people.
Yeah.
You might not speak the same language, but you can speak experience-wise. So if they go like, then ungeniambia tu, like you could have just told me. Okay, so okay, if you don't want to go here, then can we go another place? And then you start like figuring out how now you work together.
Yeah.
But it's the reaction over time. If they go back to, I think you're complicating things. I think you're overthinking. I think, and so they're diminishing or minimizing. Then it's either that, because they're different kind of relationships.
Yeah.
There are fun times relationships. Those ones that you'll go like, if I need to go to the club or if I need to go for dinner,
It's true.
There are those ones you can say, I need to go to the hospital. I'm a little bit anxious. Can you come with me? That's a different relationship.
Yeah.
So realizing where now this friendship might fall next or when it really isn't worth it anymore. So it doesn't have to be a clear, you don't start your work and then you're like, listen, I heard about the Bill of Rights and I'm like working on myself.
Yeah.
And then the other person goes like, I don't know what Bill of Rights, it sounds like these things that now modern people are just talking about and it was never there during my grandfather's da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then you go like, I'm not talking to you anymore. It's continuous, but you have to notice, because the one thing I usually say is you can trust patterns. Yeah. So what is the pattern that keeps coming up when you bring it up? So it can be over time. Think of it like if you can mention up to 3 times it happened, that's a pattern.
Yeah.
If it has happened over a period of like 3 months, that's a behavior.
Okay.
Right? Now I've gone back to clinical terms. But
I like that. Over 3 months is a behavior.
Yeah, it's a behavior. It's kind of like
3
something that has
pattern.
it has become like a routine.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the difference between a pattern and a behavior?
So I think like a pattern's like behavior is like when it's a bigger system. It's your values, it's your thoughts, it's how you react to things. A pattern is when one particular thing keeps showing up. One particular thing keeps showing up. So a pattern can be part of a behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can a pattern and or a behavior be disrupted or changed?
Yes, yeah. Which is why I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but if you practice something for more than 3 months, it becomes easy. It becomes part of your thing, right? It's why making the New Year resolution to go to the gym and then January ends and then you're no longer doing it, it doesn't become more of your
behavior. Yeah. Ooh.
Right? So you can, if after 3 months you've been going to the gym, then even like now your routine, even your brain is kind of like starting to think about it. This is how I need to do, I need to do this because of this. I'm now more used to it, right? Yeah.
And how do we, I guess, maintain this practice of, you kind of embodying your rights?
Yeah.
Because I think in isolation, it's easy. But when you are actually exposed to other people and when you are kind of, living in society with these other relationships and dynamics, it can be hard to continue to maintain it.
Yeah.
So how do you show up and sort of maintain these practices?
Yeah. I think tell maybe one or two people, this is the journey I would like to go forward with. Could you help me out? Right?
Yeah.
So that could be, I mean, a psychologist can be a good person to do that as well, apart from other people in your circle. But just to be very honest, like, not everybody can kind of like afford a psychologist, and that would need at least like 3 months of like support. And so find people around you and go, I'm uncomfortable with A, B, C, and D, and I'm changing it. I would like to say no to this and this going forward. So, or this and this relationship, I want to change how I relate to this person.
Yeah.
Could you keep me accountable?
Yeah.
It's like the way you break up with your with an ex, and then your friend goes like, "Don't go back."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Yeah, I won't go." And then 2 weeks later, you're like, Jean was involved. So then it's like, what about that Jean made you go back? Just don't go, things like that. Because now that you have an accountability partner.
Yeah.
I think one of the things about changing behavior that's really important to understand is that there's intrinsic motivation. That's from you, intrinsically.
Yeah.
I want to change this.
Yeah.
But sometimes intrinsic motivation doesn't always work. So you need extrinsic motivation, external things around you that remind you.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Right?
I never thought about it that way. Having an accountability partner.
Having an accountability partner, having somebody that helps you detangle your thoughts, because you can't be in your head all the time.
Yeah.
Printing out even the Bill of Rights, setting time with yourself 3 months down the line. What did I want to do? Have I done it? Having a little bit of grace for yourself when you haven't done something. Being patient with yourself as well. So accountability, both intrinsically and extrinsically. You can set goals. Even if it's those New Year resolutions that you never quite keep. Some of us gave up on them. But you don't have to wait for a particular time of the year. Just kind of like see how best you move on. And I think one thing that I really love to tell myself is nothing blooms all year. Nothing.
Ooh.
Not
That's
maize.
a good point.
Not millet. Not flowers.
Yeah.
Mangoes only come a specific time when you start looking for your camper friends.
It's true.
So nothing blooms all year. There are seasons. And so there's a season that it will be lonelier. There'll be a season when you question yourself a lot. And so the goals and the buddies around you, like the accountability buddy around you, help you.
I love that. I've never thought about it that way. Like having an accountability partner, I think it's so accepted and like goals, like to your point, like going to the gym or doing this, and so someone's holding me accountable. But with this kind of deep like self-work and advocacy, I haven't heard someone talk about it like that, and I really like that idea.
Yeah, we're social animals.
Yeah, we are.
We're social animals.
We are.
You have to, it can get hard as you grow older and people's lives take different directions and stuff like that. But it's important. This is why you hear about the loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
It's important that now more than ever that you're conscious of building a community around you, of building a support system around you.
Yeah.
It's important that you're conscious of it.
Yeah.
And you put a little bit more of effort into it. If you're popular in high school, you had so many friends. Now they've all gotten married. They've moved to another county. They've moved to another country. They have 6 children. They don't have any time off. They hardly call you.
Yeah.
And now you're in a place where you're like, okay, I need to find other people and stuff like that. Like, it is hard. I know it is hard. I have one high school friend that we're still friends, and I find her so dear. But she's somewhere else in another country.
Yeah.
So we will catch up when we can and stuff like that. But as much as I miss that relationship and what it was when we were closer.
Yeah.
In high school, thinking about diets to make our hips bigger. It never happened, by the way. It still means for me that I need to look for a similar community and support that I can get and be conscious about it. And let's not have shame about that I'm looking for new friends.
Yeah.
Or,
I
mean, you can do it more tactfully. I'm not a very tactful person. You can do it more tactfully.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just kind of like being very honest with yourself that I need a little bit more community. I need a little bit more of support here. And that comes to another part of the Bill of Rights. I have a right to ask for help.
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really tough one.
Yeah. It's a really tough one because of how individualized we've been. And oh my God, how many movies did we hear that whole thing of if you put your mind to... I have such a problem with that statement. If you put your mind to it, you'll just do it. Oh my God. No.
It's true.
There were so many movies growing up that we saw it over and over again. If you put your mind to it. No. There's luck, there's community, there's economics, there's so many other things.
Yeah.
And if you fail at something, join the club. We're around 6 billion people in the world. I'll tell you, all of them have failed at one point.
Yeah.
Yet the shame is so individualized. And the reason is because we have made it that way. So, and especially for men, I feel like this is more for men as well.
Yeah.
Find someone, and even if you don't have like a male friend that you can tell, find a female friend that you can tell.
Yeah.
There is such a thing as platonic relationships, I promise you. Ask, like, I'm struggling with this. What do I do?
Yeah.
Just ask for, what did you do? Have you ever gone through, even ask indirectly, say, a friend of a friend. But ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think showing up with that level of vulnerability also just deepens any relationship.
It does, but no, I feel like not always for men. I think it can be, even the woman might, if you go to a woman, they might go like, what kind of a man is this?
Yeah.
Because you see, like, a system like patriarchy doesn't work on itself. It works with enforcers.
True. True. But then does that mean that's the wrong person to tell, or that's the wrong
It
person
does
to
mean
rely?
that's the wrong
Yeah.
person to tell.
Yeah.
It does mean that's the wrong person to tell.
Which is okay to find out.
Which is okay for you to find like somebody else. And so I think the reason why I say mental health and why that statement of you can do anything that you want to be always irritates me so much is we individualize things that shouldn't be individualized without acknowledging where we've been placed in society. And so for a woman, understanding that for some reason you're supposed to be a caregiver even when you don't have children.
Yeah.
Or even if your houseplants haven't been watered this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of self, I need to go and check on them after this. Right? And for men, it's you have to be strong enough. And understanding where that comes from. Like when we were hunters and gatherers, if you were having a child, obviously you'd be more homebound, you'd be more of a caregiver because you have to breastfeed, and men have to go and hunt.
Yeah.
And women would provide like whatever farming activities there, so their role was equally important. And then men went to hunt and would come back with, even sometimes over days. And so we assume these roles. We start slowly assuming these roles of who's more homebound, who's more external. And at the time, there was more external threats. So then men's muscles and stuff like that. The one that now we go to the gym just for the fun of it so that we have muscles. At that point, it meant whether, I don't know, you could outrun a very blind buffalo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we keep on having these same roles over and over and over again. But if you understand it as, I don't need to be strong because there's no buffalo
running after me.
No, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's a system where I feel I can't cope. Your muscles, whether you're tall enough, won't help here.
Yeah.
So ask for help.
Oof.
Because the roles that we have acquired since BCE and AD ain't working anymore.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. Yeah, and I think to your point, everything in life to a degree is communal. We exist in the society. We don't exist independently.
You don't.
And so why would this be any different?
It shouldn't.
Yeah. Oof. That's great advice for a man. Find friends,
not just the ones where you go for a beer and you're like, hey, oh, yeah, we're good. Yes, work was good. Yes, the wife is good. Okay, I am sorry, man. I don't know what you talk about.
It's true. Yeah, no, but you're right. Like, share what you're struggling with and pull through it together. And I was reflecting on it as you were talking through that, because even for me, I think I have found the deepest moments of reflection and actualization and peace when I share hard things with my friends. And when they sort of carry it with me, and instead of tearing me down, hold me up. Because I also think there's something that I actually used to do that I found a lot of, let's say, recovering people pleasers or people that are starting to learn to advocate for themselves do, which is when there is like a little bit of conflict or there is sort of something wrong as you start to show up a different way than other people expected, and it upsets them. Apologizing to keep the peace.
Yeah.
You know, or like falling on your sword to keep the peace, just like to keep the peace, which ultimately is not really peace because you're the one who's not at peace.
Yeah. And then
it's temporary.
Yeah. And for me, because one of the things that I've had to kind of like really manage about my personality is perfectionism.
Ooh, big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the rumination, the way you think about that situation over and over and over again.
I know.
And then there's never a clear answer.
Yeah.
So these days I just go like, even if I try to keep the peace, or if I don't, I'll still just be bothered about it. So it's one way.
It's true. Fair.
One way ticket to a delay.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah. And I feel like for perfectionists, because I am also a recovering perfectionist, the right to change your mind and the right to make mistakes is so big.
It is so big. It is so big. Like, one of the reasons why I talk about like softness being about self-compassion is the number of times I've even had to do it physically and just go like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just to remind myself, like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I swear.
I literally have to say it out loud. I'm like, it's not the end of the world.
And then now some of my coping mechanisms is like now to Google the biggest failures. Who was the king and really blundered?
I love how you've intellectualized your coping mechanism.
Oh, I rationalize.
I'm going to do research.
I know.
And find other failures.
That is part of, one of my coping mechanisms is rationalization, right? So I'm like, you ain't the only one. This one had an entire country and failed. I'm good.
Yeah. It's not that bad in hindsight.
It's not that bad. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah. Ooh, wow. Yeah. I have struggled with that too similarly in the past. But I think you have to sort of get to a point where we're like, okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. And just, I don't know where I heard this before. Can't remember. But it was so beautiful. It was, it said, we are told that the older you get, the wiser you get. It's not that. It's the older you get, you learn from mistakes you've made, but there are more mistakes to
be
do.
Made.
Yeah. But because we learn from the mistakes that we've made, especially when you're reflective and you've learned and you're intentional in, okay, what do I do next? Or why did I do this? You feel like you're wise.
Yeah.
And then when you make another mistake, you're like, oh God.
But I thought I knew this.
Yeah. So that's why it feels like, but there's no such thing as growing older and being wiser. It's you've learned from the mistakes you've made. You haven't accounted for things that you'll trip over again.
Yeah.
And new things that you don't know that you'll probably make a mistake on.
Yeah. Oof.
Because when we tell ourselves you grow older and wiser, what do you expect? To do less mistakes? No. They'll just be newer
to have it figured
ones.
out. Yeah. I know. That was the biggest scam.
Yeah.
You legitimately thought, oh, yeah, when I get older, I'll just have everything figured out and everything's just going to be easy street, riding into the sunset.
Absolutely. It's why, like, you hear people go like, I'm in my 30s or 40s and I'm still figuring it out. Yes.
It never ends.
It never ends.
You're always figuring something
out. It's like, how are we the new adults? Because we used to like really idolize our parents and they never used to tell us about their struggles. Yeah. So now we feel like we are not adults because we thought adulthood was having tea on Sunday and being okay.
Yeah.
They just didn't relate to us as children like that. They had their own spaces.
Yeah.
That they talked about, whatever it was, if they ever did.
It's so true.
So what we saw was a perception that lacked several contexts.
Yeah. Oof, I love that. And I do think to a degree as well, like our parents' generation also struggled to vocalize a lot of things. Because it kind of comes back from what you were saying around this like survivalist mentality and the role that can play, depending, of course, on your privilege and circumstance. But for a lot of people who lived through very difficult things and difficult times with the culture that they grew up with, they grew up in a culture of silence, not one of, I'll say, vulnerability or like feeling and healing out loud.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have space for that. And I think that's also a big realization, because if you don't grow up with those sentiments of feelings, for instance, being important, then it's really difficult to discover that they are, and then to defend them and give them weight.
Yeah.
Because personally, I've spent so much of my time minimizing my feelings.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's not logical. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just not helping the situation right now. And I'm just like powering through it. And so getting to a place where you're like, actually, maybe they're a bit illogical. Maybe they don't even totally make sense to me right now, but they are important. They do have value, and they're trying to tell me something even when I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think I'll go back to like the word validation. Like, I've kind of like talked about it a little bit, like from a negative aspects of what women are kind of like taught to seek. But when somebody, as you said, like when you talk to like a friend and you're going through something, and then they support you and they go through the journey with you, that's also validation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. I see it now. How do I help? That's like, okay, you know, like whatever you've presented to me, like I see you. I actually see you and whatever it is that you're going through or what you'd like me to support with. And I think when you talk about like feelings as well, and if they were never validated or acknowledged when you were young, or just when you expressed them or they were minimized, then where do you learn to accept them?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, one of the things I was saying about is like, if you don't know where to start with a pattern. What are the things that have made me uncomfortable and they keep coming up? Something is wrong.
Yeah.
So even if you grew up in a culture or an environment where they were not acknowledged, those feelings were still there. They didn't go anywhere. They're still there. So what keeps on coming up? That's where you start. What keeps on coming up? What situation keeps on coming up? You might not even have the words, which is why I said it's a tiered way of like exploring it. Start with yourself.
Yeah.
But look for sounding boards and mirrors. Yeah.
Which one have you struggled with the most?
For the bill of...
Yeah.
Oh, where do I start? Saying no, but to particular people. Not to everyone.
Yeah.
I find it easy to say no to some people. Even sometimes without regret, I'm just like, no. But to particular people.
Yeah.
And that has been like a little bit about like just learning about myself, like why a certain kind of person or people make me feel like I have to be appeasing to them in a way, right? What about my self-esteem is validated by this, right?
Yeah.
As I said, like admitting that I've made a mistake, also like saying that I've changed my mind, because sometimes I can be like a little bit, I can overcommit so many things. And then I feel like if I change my mind, then I can be perceived as flaky. And I want to be seen as dependable, reliable. Yeah. And so it was kind of like, how do I say it? No, or I said yes, but I want to change my mind.
Yeah.
Or I'm very vocal about what I think, as we have seen.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some things that I said a couple of years ago that I am absolutely ashamed of. And so how do I say, no, I changed my mind, and comfortably say I changed my mind? Again, it goes back to kind of like this identity that I had of like being smart and being really good in school, and so being very vocal about it. And oh my God, I know that.
Yeah.
And then that now becomes a crucial part of my like Bill of Rights of yes, you can change your mind. Yes, you can say no again. Yes, you can make mistakes. The other one, I can't remember, I kind of like circled one other. But I think sometimes, especially when we think about like social, economical, like if you have to work somewhere and you really don't like it, or you have to do something for money, or like I have 2 jobs and I can't rest,
Yeah.
and going like, no, the grind is what it is, right? Or everybody kind of like has like a really terrible job anyway, or whatever, right? And to kind of like rationalize it. But understanding that you do have the right to be treated with dignity and respect.
Yeah.
Even if everything around you says no, even if the country you are in doesn't seem to even be keeping those rights, you still do. You have a right to be healthy.
Yeah.
You still do. Even if you feel like there's so much corruption and lack of accountability, it's going against those rights, it doesn't make it right. So you still have that right. And so for me, it's kind of like telling that to myself. Like, yes, we can say life is hard, or work is not always how it should be, or the grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But understanding that actually, no, take care of yourself. You don't always have to be on the grind. The hustle culture, maybe not as glorified as it seems.
Yeah. And maybe that's not your expression of worth or
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah, who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. I love that. I really like this. I really like this notion of the personal Bill of Rights. I think this is something that's so important in someone's growth and healing journey.
It really is. It's kind of like, I feel like it's like the first block.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, as I said, like the Constitution, you'll keep on amending some things.
Yeah.
You'll keep on changing some things.
Yeah.
You'll keep on reevaluating it. But it's like a very good place to start. And then the rest can kind of like come after slowly. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And sort of starting with yourself.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how from there to relate to everybody else.
Yeah.
I think is such a powerful framework.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people stop at themselves.
Yep.
And that's when also it becomes a bit of a problem when you're like,
absolutely,
it's about me and no one else sort of matters.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like from the get-go, that's one of the things I really wanted to make really important and very clear. No.
Yeah.
Yes, it is about you, but you're not in a vacuum. And society is a double-edged sword. It's good, can be good for you depending on where you are in it. It can be more harmful to you depending on where you are in it. But you're in it.
You're in it. Oof, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Karen. This was a beautiful conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for introducing us to that concept, because I think it's so crucial for a lot of people that are doing this work. And I think for me, when you shared it, it was just super validating because it was kind of like words that I couldn't express and I couldn't share.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it just does a good job of articulating that work of making space for yourself, which is, I think, the most important thing that people should do with their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us at The Soft Edit. Remember, you are the author and editor of your own life, so make it work for you. Thank you. La 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 la, Soft Edit.